On this episode of MythBusters,
This one's for distance and for glory.
Sergeant Heineman and Private Savage get into hot water,
Working on these machines is great for my skin.
investigating a Civil War machine gun supposedly powered by steam.
Isn't that awesome?
Then it's Liar Liar Pants on Fire,
You're not a thief, right?
No.
Good.
when Carrie, Grant, and Tori embark on some crime and punishment to test mythical ways of beating the lie detector.
Yes, yes, yes.
Who are the MythBusters?
It's time to blow some stuff up.
Adam Savage and Jamie Heineman.
That was fun.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
This is the kind of thing I do on the weekend.
Joining them, Carrie Byron,
Come over here, you smell that?
Grant Imahara,
He's alive!
and Tori Belleci.
This is starting to feel like a bad idea.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Suck your gut in there, soldier. I detect a Civil War myth on the way.
Sir, that's correct, sir. I'd like you to picture the following in your head. In the Civil War, the main thing they used for all their cannons and their guns was black powder, but the Confederate Army was running out of black powder towards the end of the Civil War and so decided to design a steam-powered machine gun, sir.
Well, hold on a second. Haven't we already been down that road with steam cannons? They didn't work too well.
Sir, that's correct. We did build a steam cannon, sir, but this is not a cannon powered by pressure. This is a machine gun powered centrifugally by a spinning disc that flings the projectile like a slingshot out of the gun. It's up to us to build one, sir.
Gee, that sounds like fun.
Stand easy, Private Savage. There's a graphic coming. Modern machine guns work using explosive force to fire bullets at a rapid rate. But incredibly, this Civil War gun worked more like a slingshot. A slingshot uses centrifugal force to propel a projectile. Replace the sling with a barrel, and add 'em with a steam engine, and you've got yourself the mythical steam machine gun.
You know, machine guns are complicated. This is going to be a tough build.
Yeah, and right now there are way too many unknowns. We don't even know if this thing existed, let alone if there are any plans, if it was ever used in battle, or if it was just some propaganda machine.
Yeah, we can't just go inventing something. We need more information about it.
More facts is what I've got for you, because the researchers have gotten us a Civil War expert specifically on this gun. I'm gonna go talk to him, find out what he knows, and that should give us a real leg up to getting started.
Okay.
Down at Fort Point, in the foggy shadow of the Golden Gate Bridge, Adam meets Civil War weaponry expert John Lamb, who hasn't just heard of the mythical device, he's studied it.
Tell me about this thing. Tell me everything. Tell me everything.
The most important place to start is the wine and steam gun did exist. It's a real device, it did exist.
And he's brought along the original plans to prove there's nothing mythical about this gun. Which begs the question,
Now, can you tell me how it actually worked?
The best way to describe it for you is a barrel with the opening at the top, and then it comes down in a curve and goes out like this. So as it turned around, it would snap one piece of shot out, keep going, do another.
How lethal was this thing? And how fast could it fire?
That's the big mystery. There are accounts saying it was tested and it seemed to be really deadly. There are others that say it never worked and nobody could prove it. So that's a big mystery.
so now that Adam and Jamie know the gun existed, their task is to build it and get to the bottom of the disparate accounts of how effective it was. And back at HQ, they begin by brainstorming to bring the original plans back to life.
Make some sort of a union that has the actual...
Like two blocks, basically, holding everything in rotation.
Over an hour of mind-boggling tech talk later, one thing's apparent. This isn't going to be easy.
You know, Adam, I think we need to break this down into the discrete parts.
They finally get to grips with their mammoth task by boiling it down to 4 key components. The gun barrel,
Oh, okay, so it's the business end is a curved barrel there.
Yeah.
a method of feeding ammo into the gun,
We're going to use a hollow axle to feed the ammo in.
Right.
a motor to spin the gun barrel,
First thing that comes to mind for me is an air tool, impeller.
Yeah.
And easiest of all, steam to power the motor.
Why don't we get a water heater?
Which leaves just one question.
What are we going to use for ammo?
I think we should go with steel balls.
This is going to be terrifying. Good, we got a plan.
I totally agree. Let's get to it.
So after a Category 5 brainstorm, the guys have a plan, which looks a lot like this. 2 water heaters will generate steam, driving 2 motors. These, in turn, will spin the curved gun barrel at 2,000 RPM. A clockwork ammo feeder will drop the ball, and the centrifugal force will fling it out the barrel. At least, that's the theory. Because, as this glimpse into the future confirms, this ballistic build will test the team's engineering skills to the limit.
I've never heard anything like that.
And provide another frightening example of just how dangerous being a Mythbuster can be. But all that's for later. First up is the spinning, flinging heart of the steam machine gun, the curved barrel. Unlike the Confederates, Jamie has access to some impressive 21st century technology. But throughout the process, the guys plan to stick to the Civil War specs.
Well, so far so good. This is actually coming together quite nicely. I gotta say, while it doesn't look like a gun barrel, it's actually really quite terrifying because this weighs maybe 20 pounds or so, and it's gonna be spinning at thousands of RPM. It's just horrifying. Adam, check this out.
So the bullet goes in there and comes out here.
It's working.
That is so cool.
Now imagine that spinning at 33 times a second, and you can see why this ballistic build is making everyone nervous.
Yeah, I know it's fun. Let me get back to work.
So, Carrie, have I ever told you that I sing in Adam's band, the Ginger Tops, twice a month?
No. And also, he was voted in Germany the sexiest TV star, second only to David Hasselhoff.
No.
Have I told you that I was a small Wookiee in Star Wars Episode 3?
No, you didn't, because I would have seen you because I was a small Wookiee.
Now you get it. We're lying. You know why?
No.
Because the fans have asked us to test out mythical ways to beat the polygraph machine.
Once we're done with that, we're gonna go up against the latest in lie detecting technology, the FMRI.
Awesome, I haven't been this excited since my last cage match.
Yeah, I want a rematch.
I won't lie to you, the polygraph has been shrouded in controversy. Some say it's infallible, but the Mythbuster fan sites are awash with claims it can be beat first time, every time.
Okay, mythical ways to beat the polygraph. How are we gonna do this?
Well, it sounds like there's 2 different ways to beat the polygraph machine, and that's physical and mental. Now, the physical, you apply pain while you're telling the truth, whether you're biting on your tongue or stepping on a tack. So that way, when you're telling the lie, it seems like you're relaxed, and they think you're telling the truth.
And the mental way is to think of very stressful thoughts while you are telling the truth, and when you tell a lie, you think of very happy thoughts.
Well, we've used a polygraph before, but we are not remotely qualified to do it for something this serious. I think we need to find an expert, somebody who works with the police or the FBI or something.
Well, while the researchers are looking for the experts, we need to come up with a way to test this as realistically as possible.
Well, we have a few friends in law enforcement. Let's go down to the South San Francisco PD and ask them for a few tips.
So, first up, it's off to the cop shop. Because if they're going to test techniques to beat the lie detector, they want to know the optimum conditions for a real polygraph test. Cue the South San Francisco PD's Lieutenant Roy Varney.
So, we are working on mythical ways to beat the lie detector, and we need to set up a realistic scenario so we get the best possible results.
Well, if you guys want to sit down for a second, I'll go over some of this stuff.
Lieutenant Varney's recipe for polygraph success has 4 key ingredients. 2 long hours in a sterile, distraction-free location cover the first 2.
The third issue is of bias. We really don't want the examiner to meet our subject before the test.
So far, so good. But it's the final factor that's the most critical of all.
It needs to be a big lie. There needs to be a reward versus punishment aspect to it. If you wanted an accurate test of this, you would need to commit a crime.
It slowly dawns on the guys. If they want to test this myth properly, they'll have to actually commit a crime. And that's because a lie detector works by measuring the physiological changes to the human body associated with stress, including heart rate, blood pressure, and sweat. So committing a crime with consequences stressful enough to sweat over is the only way to really put the polygraph through its paces. And as far as Lieutenant Varney's concerned, under these conditions, there'll be only one result.
Can't beat a lie detector test.
Now there's a challenge. Back at the shop, the team begin by building the interrogation chamber. But remember, if you can't do the time, don't do the mime. Despite the clowning around, following Lieutenant Varney's advice, they've soon got the perfect location for their lie detector tests, including the obligatory two-way mirror.
You ever get the feeling people are watching us work?
All the time.
During the Civil War, the Confederates, spurred on by dwindling gunpowder stores, designed and built a steam machine gun. But did it actually work, and what was it capable of? Questions Adam and Jamie intend to answer by building their very own steam machine gun.
That is so cool.
Jamie has completed the crucial curved gun barrel, and he's welded it into the heavy-duty frame.
Oh, that's lovely.
What they need now is a motor to drive it.
This is an air impact wrench, and because we're making a steam machine gun, I figure a good place to start is to use an air impeller, an air motor.
Driven by compressed air, it's perfect, because after they incorporate it into their design, they can simply replace the air with steam power. Before that, they want to take it for a quick spin, so Jamie guns the machine gun.
That feels great. It's totally valid.
And the slingshot gun barrel flings into action.
What can I say? It's working perfectly. This thing is smooth as it could possibly be. It's really scary.
To cut down on the scary factor, Adam cuts a steel safety collar. It encircles the barrel of the gun, ensuring the bullets can exit in just one direction. And that means the guys are on track. The barrel is spinning smoothly, and the motor is firing at the target speed. The next component in this beast of a build is Adam's ammo feeder.
This right here is the clockwork that will pace out the bullets being dropped into the barrel.
So, this complicated clockwork design can be dialed to drop the ammo into the rotating barrel at just the right moment. If it works, the bullet will be flung with maximum speed and in the correct direction.
It may look like a simple clockwork, but I think of it as a map of the most complex clockwork, like the planets. It is not a planetary gear, but I think of it as a planetary gear because each thing, like a planet, moves in its place and goes where it should. It is not only a map of the planets, it is also a map of the atom. In this way, the microcosm is the macrocosm, and phylogeny recapitulates ontology. I call it my orrery.
After finding his lost marbles, Adam adds his masterpiece to the rig.
This is real. It's working now.
Which means the guys are ready to put the steam into their steam machine gun. And for that, they'll need a household hot water heater, a plumbing necessity the guys recently discovered has the explosive potential of a bomb. If the pressure is kept below the failure point of 350 psi, they should be ideal to power the gun.
There's a lot of energy in steam and in water heaters, and that's why we're going to use one for this job.
But while plumbing the heaters into the motor, replacing the compressed air, Jamie has soiled himself.
I thought the shirts had some kind of resistive thing, some kind of new technology, military maybe. But they're just normal shirts. It's you know, my world is crashing down around me.
While waiting for a replacement shirt from the NSA, Jamie goes in guns blazing to complete the rig.
Perfect. That ought to do.
And with the last nut, bolt, and ballistic shield in place, the guys are finally ready for a test fire.
All right, I'm putting in one of our target bullets.
So Adam feeds the ammo feeder, Jamie hits the power, and the water heaters are on the boil. But as the tanks heat up and the pressure increases, an eerie hum rings out over M5.
What do you think that is?
I don't have a clue. It seems to be coming out of this one more, though.
The boys are baffled, and while they search for the sound source, the pressure and heat slowly but surely rise.
I've never heard anything like that.
The worried looks are understandable. Remember, at 350 psi, they do this.
That's a rocket, my friend.
The pressure has a way to go before it hits that catastrophic failure point.
We've got water at 260 some odd degrees. It's at 167 psi. It's a huge amount of energy.
But with a whole heap of homemade plumbing involved, there's an element of doubt.
That's so creepy.
And Adam is feeling the pressure.
Can we just go away from the steam and do only air pressure?
At a complete loss as to the source of the mysterious sound,
Just stay out of the jet.
they open up a release valve to let off some steam. And to everyone's relief, the eerie end-of-the-world humming stops.
Now just stop.
Cue a relieved, adrenaline-fueled Adam waxing lyrical about his industrial steam engineering brethren.
Doing this, I feel a total kinship with the guys who invented this thing. This was made during the steam age. Steam was the power, and it is an incredible power. I imagine that doing this for the first time out of hand-forged metal had to have been not only petrifying, but a much higher probability of being lethal.
Counterintuitively, after letting off all that steam, their prototype has maintained its pressure. And here's our resident steam lover to explain why.
The moment we release pressure, all the water that isn't steam is being turned to steam to help keep that pressure up. It's very exciting. It's actually...
Yeah, stop talking. What's the PSI?
171.
Okay.
With Adam doing his best kid in a candy store impression and the rig holding its pressure, the guys are finally ready to unleash the steam power and fire up their gun.
Opening up this one.
So far, so good. The steam successfully spins the gun barrel at the projected 2,000 RPM.
It works. What can I say? It's running on steam.
Which means it's time for this gun to fire some ammo.
All right, so this is first test of Adam and Jamie's steam machine gun.
With the team safely behind the ballistic shield, Adam remotely releases the ball. Incredibly, 100 years after it was designed,
What are we doing?
Oh, wow.
this steam-powered gun works.
What did it do to
That
our...
worked beautifully. We're at 155 psi. I can see where it hit. Look at that.
Is there a dent on the outside metal?
Yes.
It may not look like it, but it's working. It put a dent in 1/4 inch of steel, and that means to me that if we get it tuned right and the ball doesn't hit the steel, instead it comes out of the gun the way it's supposed to, it'd probably go through a person. So it is in fact lethal as it stands now.
Despite a timing issue resulting in a slingshot firing into the safety collar and not through the gap, Adam and Jamie have a proof of concept.
Nice! I'm very pleased and terrified.
Last time the MythBusters played with a polygraph,
All right, Grant, I got our guinea pig.
they attempted to get in touch with a plant's feelings.
Ooh, this is weird stuff, man.
But this time the team is tackling mythical techniques to beat the rap by perplexing the polygraph. But before the interrogation comes the crime. And Adam, our criminal mastermind, has all the details.
In these 3 envelopes, I have a crime which 2 of you will commit and 1 will not.
After handing over the sealed envelopes, Adam leaves the team to individually open their instructions. Burglar Balachi is first.
All right, so here are the directions. Do not disclose this information in this message to anyone until told to do so.
And after opening his letter, he returns to M5 on a quiet weekend morning.
Enter Jamie's office. Next to the computer on the top shelf of a tall white bookshelf, you will find a tan cash box. Inside the box, you will find a wallet. Open the wallet and remove $50.
Grant is next, and his task is identical to Tori's. And with the cash safely stashed, he slips away to spend his ill-gotten gains. Last up, Carrie.
You are the innocent party. Do not search the room. Do not disturb anything. I get to tell the truth. I get to be the innocent party.
So Carrie is the all-important control. She didn't steal any cash, and during the interrogation will answer all questions truthfully. Which means it's time to meet the man with the machine. Dr. Michael Martin has been a polygraphist for over 15 years and has conducted over 8,000 lie detection tests.
There's a lot of people out there that think that polygraphs are total bunk. How would you respond to that?
Well, first of all, let's look at the research. The federal government has done quite a few studies, and each study, the test results fall anywhere from about 80% to about 99% in accuracy.
Before the guys test the reality of those impressive numbers, Ringmaster Adam has one more trick up his sleeve.
In order to actually get some real physiological autonomic responses, we're going to raise the stakes for you. And so, if you are able to conceal whether or not you did this crime from our polygraphist, the next time you fly for MythBusters, you'll be flying first class. Yes! However, if you fail to conceal whether or not you did this crime from the polygraphist, you will be washing, waxing, and polishing every single crew member's car on MythBusters.
Oh, this sucks. This went from fun to not fun.
Yeah.
With the threat of some real work hanging over their heads, the pressure is on. Burglar Belleci will be the first to face the music. But how exactly will he attempt to outwit the polygraph?
My secret weapon. I'm gonna stick the tack in my pocket like this, point it at my leg, and whenever I'm telling the truth, I'm just gonna press down on my leg. It should hurt.
So Tori is trying to invalidate the test as a whole by blurring the line between fact and fiction. Remember, the polygraph works by measuring the stress of lying. So the theory is, by stressing your body with pain on the truthful answers and relaxing on the lies, the machine can't tell the difference. To begin the test, Dr. Martin asks a bunch of simple calibration questions.
Is your first name Salvatore?
Yes.
Remember, every time he answers truthfully, he presses in the tack.
Calculate 6 times 11 minus 15.
Maths and pain have always been partners for Tori.
54.
Do you intend to answer my questions truthfully?
Yes.
Recently featured in the movie Ocean's 13, this technique of self-harm is a popular myth.
Did you steal that cash discovered missing from Jamie's office today?
No.
But the sensors on the seat and floor catch even the slightest suspicious movement.
Okay, that's a movement. Please keep your eyes straight ahead.
I tried going for the tack, and he called me out, so I had to go straight to biting my tongue.
So it's Plan B. Tori's new painful countermeasure is tongue biting.
During your entire life, did you ever steal money stolen from a cash box? A white envelope. Did you steal that cash?
No.
After a further 80 minutes of intense scrutiny and deliberately confusing questions,
that's it. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you.
Tori and his tongue finish the interrogation close to breaking point.
I got the 3rd degree. Felt like the screws were being tightened down on me.
Grant's next, and for his technique, rather than getting physical, he's going mental.
My happy/erotic thoughts are puppies licking my face and scantily clad women.
Okay. So Grant will use the power of his not inconsiderable mind. By thinking stressful thoughts of getting caught when being honest and happy thoughts when lying, the test results are supposedly rendered inconclusive.
Regarding that cash reported missing from money stolen from a cash box, your entire life, did you ever break my question? Was it you who stole that cash?
No.
After 90 minutes, the strain must be taking its toll.
Yes.
Grant's technique requires absolute focus and concentration.
No.
But the intensity and length of the interview are designed to counter Grant's countermeasure.
Okay. That's gonna do it.
Last up is innocent little Carrie.
I don't like people throwing unexpected questions at me like that. I've seen Montel. I know how they take people off guard.
Is your first name Carrie?
Remember, she's the control and didn't steal any cash. But despite her innocence, the stressful environment and questioning takes its toll.
Was that money stolen from a white envelope from Jamie's chair? Cash reported missing from Jamie's office. You are afraid I will ask.
I was waiting for that moment where I was going to break down. No. The hardest part is just holding still. I thought I was going to have one flinch, and I was going to screw the whole thing up.
Yes.
The question is, will her nerves confuse the polygraph and lead to a false accusation?
That's the worst.
And to find out exactly who will be charged with the crime and who won't, Dr. Martin gathers the suspects for the results.
Well, first of all, the good news is that no one's test was inconclusive. We have conclusive results on everyone.
Really?
Absolutely.
Great.
Adam and Jamie are involved in a steamy affair.
Working on these machines is great for my skin.
Using the Civil War specs and modern materials, they've built a steam-powered machine gun.
It may not look like it, but it's working.
With Jamie drawing the line at firing automatic weapons in the shop, it's off to the wide open spaces of the Alameda runway. Here, the team will tackle the central unresolved question of this myth. Did it function effectively as a weapon of war?
That's it.
There are a lot of conflicting stories about this machine gun.
Absolutely. We have reports of it firing distances between 100 yards and 300 yards. We have reports of it firing 200 rounds a minute, 300 rounds a minute, 400 rounds a minute.
And we have Corporal James Whitaker's account that balls the size of walnuts cut a target completely in twain.
To test these conflicting reports, Adam and Jamie will use these three standards: a range of 300 yards, a rapid-fire capability of 400 rounds per minute, and of course, lethal force. Pass these best-case scenarios, and it's myth confirmed. With an eye on the range test, Adam marks out 800 yards of runway with a series of 2x4s. And with everything plumbed in, they put the water heaters on to boil. But there's a problem. The pressure is flatlining.
We noticed that our pressure wasn't building even though the water was heating up just fine. And it looks like our main valves failed. So Jamie's run off to the hardware store to find what valves he can, and I'm going to pull this off and start to inspect these. But this is a real roadblock.
With the afternoon slipping away, Jamie rushes back with the part. But unfortunately, he proves once again, you can't beat the speed camera.
I rushed right down to the local hardware store, and thankfully they had just what I needed. It's a sort of a gate valve. There's no visible rubber seals or anything. It's rated for the pressures we need. It's metal to metal. I think it's going to work just fine. Unfortunately, since the water is heating and we're behind schedule now, I was rushing. I got a speeding ticket.
You didn't say I'm James Heineman?
While Jamie works out if he can claim the ticket as a business expense, they fit the new valve.
Ha! That's it.
Okay.
And the heat and pressure head rapidly for the butter zone.
We've got a tachometer set up so we know exactly when it reaches 2,000 RPM. We got the pin, I'll pull, drop the ball in, and we're gonna see this thing actually fire for the first time out in the wild. Let's go.
This is it. The MythBusters are about to fire a single round from their steam-powered gun. The barrel is up to speed, and Adam is in position to remotely release the ammo.
Here we go. We should hear it clang the second I pull this. 3, 2, 1. That was it. It happened a little bit later.
just like the proof of concept test back at M5, there seems to be a timing problem.
Can you see the mark?
I can, there's a new mark.
The bullet is hitting the collar and not firing through the gap.
I don't know what the heck we're gonna do about that.
I don't know what to do about that except line up 5 balls and see what happens when I drop them all. Maybe they'll all whoop, 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 and just let each other go. What do you think? Want to try that one? Let's try that one.
It's a ballsy plan that has Adam bouncing around like a cartoon character on caffeine. A test fire with multiple rounds.
Let's fire this puppy.
Our fun-loving criminals have been testing mythical ways to beat the polygraph, and the results are in.
The good news is that no one's test was inconclusive.
Remember, Grant and Tori are guilty and tried to invalidate the test with 2 different countermeasures.
Felt like the screws were being tightened down on me.
But Carrie was innocent. So did Dr. Martin Pickett.
Carrie, you were found not to be involved in the theft. Your test was truthful and honest. Unfortunately, the men's test didn't go as well. They both failed clearly on all issues.
I knew I failed.
The numbers don't lie. Both our crims scored a probability of guilt greater than 99%. Dr. Martin had no problem spotting Tori's attempt to mask his responses with pain. As for Grant,
in your particular case, it was your skin glands were the most telling. You just couldn't suppress it. There's no way you could do that.
You didn't have a chance.
I'm not cut out for crime, what can I say?
quite simply, the boys didn't have a chance. Modern polygraphs, when used by experienced polygraphers, are very effective. The trick questions.
During your entire life, did you ever break the law?
The intimidating atmosphere and myriad of sensors mean they are very, very difficult to beat.
Yes.
Which means it's time for the boys to make like an 80s disco diva and hit the car wash.
I didn't bring my bikini. Did you bring yours? It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous, and the producers know it.
So much for beating the polygraph machine. We both failed.
At least all the cars are clean.
That's funny. You know what, though? There is one other system of lie detecting that I think we need to test. They actually use brain mapping to tell whether or not you're lying. And they say it's 90% accurate.
Yeah, actually, I've heard of that. They use an FMRI, and they can actually see the part of your brain that's used for lying.
So this is less about myth busting and more about the science of lying.
And to uncover the science of lying, they have to do some flying. The Medical University of South Carolina is at the cutting edge of this new lie detection technology.
Does anybody know where the hell we're going?
Whereas Grant and Tori are at the cutting edge of getting lost.
We are looking for the Medical University of South Carolina.
Finally inside, Carrie gets to meet expert Dr. Frank Kozel.
So the FMRI is new technology for a lie detector.
Correct, Harry. We've been working on this for a while, and we're looking at using functional MRI to measure in the brain when people are lying.
So how's it work?
We think that when people are lying, their brains are working harder, and so we can measure the differences in blood flow and tell when people are lying versus telling the truth.
So the theory is that when you lie, your brain works harder. And it's this increase in blood flow that's detected in the fMRI. And to test the theory, the guys will once again commit a crime.
According to Adam, in order for this test to have the proper motivation that it needs, there's going to be a reward and a punishment. If you're able to successfully beat the test, you get the reward of $1,000.
Are you
kidding me?
What?
That's pretty good.
However, if you're not able to successfully beat the test, you get to take a bus back to San Francisco.
Shut up! Oh. That sucks.
A bus.
That sucks!
Have you ever ridden the bus? Long distances?
Are you serious? This is not funny anymore.
In the course of MythBusters, Tori has been dragged along the ground by a horse and face planted on a bike. But could this be the myth that breaks Tori's back?
I don't want to take this test. Can I opt to not take the test?
Adam and Jamie are in a spin testing claims that a Civil War-era steam machine gun was a lethal weapon.
That was it.
With range and rapid-fire capability. But so far, the only target in danger is the steel safety collar.
I don't know what the heck we're gonna do about that.
Their solution? More ammo.
Want to try that one? Let's try that one.
So the guys are hoping the timing issue resolves itself under the weight of multiple rounds.
And our victims are these foam board figures. I've placed them about 20 feet from the barrel of our steam machine gun. And I want to test two things. One, I want to add some more bullets and test and see how repeatable the gun is. The brrrr, that's what I'm looking for. And if we get that, I'd like to see what kind of spread I get.
For this test, the guys will attempt to fire 5 bullets in quick succession.
Ready when you are.
And if successful, will it match the mythical reports of 400 rounds per minute?
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. We hit the figures.
No wonder Adam's happy. They hit their target. And the use of multiple rounds seems to have solved that timing problem.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You know what?
What?
That is a machine gun.
I would say that sounds a lot like a machine gun to me.
Yep, with the 5 rounds leaving the gun in approximately 1 second, they're close enough to the mythical specs to get a pass mark. Next, Adam and Jamie want to know if those rapid-fire rounds can kill. And for that, they'll need a ye olde control.
I just want to do a comparison shot with a black powder rifle into the ballistics gel guy, and then fire our steam machine gun in, see how the two compare.
You don't have any ye olde earmuffs?
These are. I got the replica jacket, the replica rifle, the replica hat, and ye olde replica earmuffs.
Sacrificing authenticity for safety, Adam sets his sights on the ballistics material bust.
In 3, 2, 1.
He didn't stand a chance.
I think he's dead.
They went right through him and through the board.
There's no doubt about it. The period-accurate black powder rifle packs a deadly punch. So that's what the guys are expecting from their machine gun.
I'm trying 3 balls this time. Bang, bang, and bang.
All right, lethality test in 3, 2, 1. That's great.
Bang, bang, and bang was exactly what the ballistic bust got. But was it, as per the myth, lethal?
Doesn't look like it made it all the way through.
No, I can see them right here. They're just a couple of inches in. I gotta say, I think that's a kill, man. It's not quite all the way through the man and the plywood, but it's definitely under the skin.
I agree.
Yep, and a look at the high speed gives Adam and Jamie a visual confirmation that at point-blank range, staring down the spinning barrel of this gun is fatal.
Yes. Isn't that awesome?
So far, so good for the myth. It appears to be lethal and can fire multiple rounds at a rapid rate.
That is a machine gun.
But to be sure, we need a more realistic, flesh and bone target. At the Medical University of South Carolina, MRI technology is being studied as a potential replacement for the polygraph. And Carrie, Grant, and Tori are about to put this new generation of lie detector through its paces. But first, they have to steal one item from this drawer.
So the idea here is that I need to either steal the watch or the ring from this drawer. Then I need to take whichever object I choose, put it in my locker with all of my belongings. Then I will go into the FMRI and they're going to ask me a series of questions about which item I took and some baseline truth and lie questions. I'm going to steal the ring.
With the ring stashed safely among Carrie's belongings, she heads for the MRI, where she's prepped for her futuristic interview.
This is intense.
Unlike the polygraph, this test takes the human out of the equation. The questions appear on a screen, and Carrie answers with the press of a button.
Just try to keep your head as still as possible, okay?
Carrie's attempt to beat this lie detector involves thinking happy, relaxing thoughts when lying, and scary thoughts on the truth. But can you fool a machine looking directly at your brain? Next up is Tori, and he's also taking the ring.
Hey, DVD. Want to keep that.
And he's also taking the ring.
So I'm gonna go with the ring.
After safely stowing his booty in his locker, he's ready for the MythBusters Magnetron.
I'm all clear metal. This is not gonna rip my fillings out, is it?
No.
Tori's attempt to beat the mind machine involves the same mind game as Carrie. And after answering the question, he escapes with his fillings intact. Last but not least is Grant.
Okay, so I've chosen to take the watch, and I don't know why. It was just shiny and looked like something fun to take.
With Grant's shiny secret under wraps, he too heads into the Donut of Doom.
Now, my technique for beating the FMRI is to put my brain in a state of constant activity. And I'm actually going to psychologically create for myself a feeling of fear, hoping to stimulate the blood flow all around my brain so that they won't know when I'm lying or when I'm telling the truth.
So the sci-fi cross-examinations are complete, and the technicians begin to sift through the scans. Remember, if our thieves are successful in confusing the test, they get $1,000 and avoid a long bus ride home.
My hands are actually sweating.
From our analysis, we found that all three of you took the ring.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
As you can tell by the reactions, Grant beat the MRI. Carrie and Tori didn't.
Well, looks like we get to take that cross-country trip we've been talking about for so long. Oh well, what are you gonna do?
Grant's smug, Carrie's cursing, and refusing to even talk to the producer.
I'm not speaking to you.
I can't believe Grant beat that freaking test, though. That's unbelievable.
I'm not speaking to Adam. I might forgive you, but not for the next 2 days.
Look at that smug face. He's just so happy with himself right now. I think that makes me more sick than the bus ride home.
Well, like it or not, Grant's mind really did triumph over matter.
This whole time, I've been psychologically preparing myself to ride the bus across the country. So I really hadn't actually truly believed that I was going to get $1,000.
So it seems that crime does pay. Grant gets his $1,000, while the others get a ride to the bus station.
Okay, guys, here's your tickets. I've got my...
Holy crap! 3,077 miles. Myths about lie detectors. Where do we stand?
Well, as far as the polygraph goes, the physical and mental techniques the two of you guys utilized failed pretty miserably. But just because you guys didn't do it doesn't mean somebody else can't. So we're gonna have to call this one plausible.
How was that bus ride, by the way?
Shut up.
Adam and Jamie are attempting to resolve the controversy that a Civil War steam machine gun was an effective weapon of war. It's already been proved lethal at close range.
Isn't that awesome?
But how will it fare at 20 yards with a more realistic target? Cue the human analog.
The steam machine gun's about to claim its next victim. The ballistics gel is nice, but I want to see what happens in real flesh. And that's what this is. Don't worry, as soon as we're done with this, Jamie's gonna take it home and cook it and eat it this weekend. I'm not kidding, he's gonna eat the whole thing.
Not by myself.
But before the barbecue, the boys intend to tenderize the meat. Surrounded by the foam regiment, Porky is in Adam's sights.
All right, shoot the pig in 3, 2, 1.
The gun again performed. But did our porcine test target survive?
I think we hit it.
I think so. Question is, did they go in?
It doesn't look like they did. It looks like one glanced off of him and went through here. We got a hit right there.
That probably broke some bones, though.
Yeah, but that's not a lethal hit. That's
No penetration.
So Porky was pummeled, but with not so much as a flesh wound, the claim that the steam machine gun was a lethal weapon of war is looking busted.
I just don't think it can kill. It never pierced our pig, and I think that's really where the rubber meets the road with a weapon of war. You don't want to just dent the enemy. You want to kill them.
So unless you're standing right at the end of the barrel, it's not a deadly weapon. But Adam and Jamie want to try all the angles before consigning their steam machine to the busted bin. They're going to test the full extent of the gun's range.
We're now going for real distance. So we've angled our cannon at the steepest angle we're comfortable with, about 20 degrees, which tells me it ought to fire around 500 yards. And we're going to actually test this out and see.
It's full steam ahead for the range test, and Adam amps up the ammo.
12.
The gun's locked and loaded.
Everybody, we're going hot.
And Adam, keeping his Hollywood action hero dream alive, gets into character.
This one's for distance and for glory.
With the gun at full speed, Adam releases his balls. But the rig ain't happy, and chaos reigns. Jamie kills the steam on his side and frantically signals for Adam to do the same. But with a machine gun spiraling out of control at 2,000 RPM, Adam's taking no chances. He reaches around the ballistic shield and finally shuts it down.
Oh, I think that might be the last thing our cannon does.
Yep, it came to a grinding, shuddering, fatal stop. But as this high speed shows, it wasn't in vain.
My God, what a beautiful shot.
So, at least one bullet left the barrel before the shutdown. But where'd it go?
Apparently Jamie found one way out there. You got one.
700 yards.
No! Dude, that's just under half a mile. That is really nice work, man.
Yep, unexpectedly, the gun fired a full 300 yards further than the Civil War specs, which leaves the Myth scorecard looking like this. But if you add a crucial fourth category, it's not nearly as impressive.
Soldier!
Sir, yes, sir!
What do you think of the steam machine gun as a machine?
Sir, it functions effectively as both a machine and a gun, sir!
Soldier!
Sir, yes, sir!
What do you think of the steam machine gun as a weapon of war?
Sir, it's not very effective, sir!
Okay, let's get out of here.